I'm R. Sucharita, Government Degree College, Khairatabad, Hyderabad, Department of English. A warm welcome to the students of BA, BSc, BCom first year. So today we are going to learn conversation, that is how to prepare for interview. Preparing for an interview is called as interview skills. So, preparing for an interview. You can see on the slide a picture where interview is going on. So, preparing for an interview. Preparing for an interview helps you face the panel of interviewers with confidence. Remember the following points when you are preparing for an interview. Brush up on the subject or the area related to the interview and update yourself on recent developments. Prepare answers to some general questions you think the interviewers will ask. Example, tell us a little about yourself. Why do you want to be with us? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Arrange the papers and certificates that you may be asked to produce neatly in a folder. Wear something formal and comfortable for the occasion. Plan to reach the place of the interview a little early, as this will give you time to plan to reach the place of interview a little early, as this will give you time to familiarize yourself with your surroundings and to relax. Think positive, pleasant thoughts and try to regulate your breathing to remain calm. So, how one ought to prepare, how you and others should prepare for the interview. So, preparing for an interview helps you to face the panel of interviewers. So, there may be two in a panel, or three in a panel, or more than three in a panel. So, we have to face the panel of interviewers. So, how we have to face this panel? So, we should have confidence. If we have confidence, then only we can face the people who are expert, that is the panel of interviewers. So, remember the following points when you prepare for an interview, how you have to prepare for an interview. So, the first one is brush up on the subject or the area related to the interview. So, first you have to brush up your area of subject. What is the subject related to your area? And you have to update yourself on the recent developments. What are the current affairs? So you have to update yourself regarding the recent affairs or the recent developments. This is the first one. And the second one is prepare answers to some general questions you think the interviewer will ask. Example, tell us a little about yourself. So, not only the subject, but you have to prepare yourself for the general questions. So, those general questions, for example, they may be to tell about yourself. Tell us a little about yourself. Speak about yourself. Or introduce about yourself. So, why do you want to be with us? And what are your strengths and weaknesses? So, we have to prepare ourselves on these. That is, speaking about yourself and why you want to select that particular company and work with them, and what are your strengths and weaknesses. So these are the general questions. And then Arrange the papers and certificates that you may be asked to produce neatly in a folder. So you have to place all your papers and all your certificates, that which are manual, in your folder. So neatly you have to arrange them right from your recent qualification. So all these you have to arrange them according to the order. Wear something formal and comfortable for the occasion. So since this is the occasion of an interview, so you have to wear the dress which is very formal and which is very comfortable. You have to wear a formal and comfortable clothing when you attend the interview. Then the next one is plan to reach the place of the interview a little early. So, whenever you attend an interview, you should always be before and not late. At least half an hour before, you have to be at the place of the interview. You have to reach before half an hour or more than half an hour to the place of the interview, as this will give you time to familiarize yourself. So you will become familiar to that place, and then you will be confident. So that is why you should be before in the interview place, so that you can relax with the and you should be familiar with the surroundings so that you don't feel nervous. So this is the actual reason for attending an interview, that is early. Then the last one is think positive, pleasant thoughts, and try to regulate your breathing to remain calm. So always you have to think positive. So your thinkings should be positive and you should have pleasant thoughts. And you have to regulate your breathing and you have to remain calm. So these are the important things when you attend an interview. So remember that you should be positive, pleasant, and you have to regulate your breathing and remain calm. And then the next one is how to face an interview. Facing an interview. Wait for your name to be announced and knock or seek permission before you enter. Then the second point is greet the people in the room formally but in a pleasant manner. Then the next one is do not sit down until you are asked to. Then the next one, look at the interviewers. Be conscious about making eye contact with the person speaking to you and of maintaining a proper and relaxed body posture and a steady tone of voice, which should not be either too loud or too soft. Remember not to interrupt the interviewer and allow him/her to finish speaking before you respond. Listen carefully to the interviewer's questions and comments and speak clearly and at a moderate pace of avoiding having anyone repeat themselves. In case you do not hear a question you are asked, or if you do not understand it, you could politely ask for it to be repeated or explained. For example, I'm sorry, but could you repeat the question, please? Or, I'm afraid, I'm not sure what you mean. Are you asking me if I? Or could you clarify the question, please? Avoid answering questions with just yes or no, even in the case of yes no questions. The interviewer will find it more satisfying if you add to your reply or explain it briefly. Thus, in reply to, is your mother tongue Telugu? You could say, no, it's Urdu, but I can speak Telugu fluently. Do not feel embarrassed to say that you do not know the answer to a question. Use expressions such as, I'm afraid I don't know, and I'm sorry, but I'm not really certain. Do not get into arguments or speak negatively or criticize former teachers, colleagues, or employers. Do not boast or display your knowledge, skills, and experience, but if asked, state your achievements simply and honestly. Wait for the interviewer to invite you to ask questions in case you have queries. If this does not happen, wait until you sense that the interviewers are done before asking them politely if they could clarify something for you. Examples of the questions you may want to ask the interviewer are, could you tell me whether the position involves traveling, please? And could I know when I can expect to hear from you, please? So wait for the interviewer to tell you that the interviewer has ended before you get up from your chair. And call the people in the room before walking out of the door and closing it softly behind you. So, what are the points in order to facing an interview? So, the first one is you have to wait until your name is announced. And once your name is announced, you have to knock and you have to seek permission before you enter into the room or the panel of interviewers. And the second thing is you have, as soon as you enter the room, you have to greet the people in a very formal manner and in a very pleasant manner. And then you should not sit down until you are asked to. Then the next one is you have to look at the interviewers. You should be very conscious in making the eye contact with the person to whom you are speaking. You have to maintain proper eye contact with the person whom you are speaking, and not only that, you have to maintain a proper and relaxed body posture, and not only that, you should produce a steady tone of voice. It should not be very loud or very soft. A moderate tone should be used when you are speaking in the interview. Then the next one is you have to remember not to interrupt the interviewer. So you have to remember this point. When the interviewer is speaking, you should not interrupt him or her speaking. And then after their speaking is finished, then you have to respond. When they finish their speaking, then you have to take time and respond, but do not interrupt. Then the next point is you have to listen carefully to the interviewer's questions and what are the comments passed by them. And then you have to speak very clearly. Not only speaking clearly and at a moderate pace to avoid having anyone repeat themselves. So you have to listen carefully and speak clearly. Then the next one is in case you do not hear a question you are asked, Or if you do not understand, then you can politely ask for it to be repeated or explained. For example, you can speak like this: I'm sorry, or but could you repeat the question, please? Or I'm afraid I'm not sure what you mean. Are you asking me? Could you clarify the question, please? So, this is the way. Very politely, you have to ask if you do not understand or hear a question. Then the next one is you should avoid answering questions with just yes or no. For each and every question, you should not answer yes, yes, sir, no, sir. It's not like that. It is not the way of facing the interview. Even in the case of yes no questions, the interviewer will be more satisfying if you add to your reply, or uh, you have to explain it briefly. Okay, but just very scanty, like don't say yes or no. Thus, in reply, is your mother tongue Telugu? You could say, no, it's Urdu, but I can speak Telugu fluently. This is the way how you have to answer. Is your mother tongue Telugu? And if you just answer them no, that is insufficient. So, how you have to answer? No, no, sir, it's Urdu, but I can speak Telugu fluently. That is the way how you answer. And the next one is do not feel embarrassed, or to say that you do not know the answer to a question. Use expressions such as I'm afraid, I don't know, I'm sorry, but I'm not really certain. So don't feel shy if you do not know the answer to the question which they are putting them to you. You need not feel embarrassed or you need not feel shy. But you can use expressions like I'm afraid, I don't know, or I'm sorry, I'm not really certain. That is the way how you answer. Then the next one is you should not get into arguments, or you shouldn't speak negatively, or you shouldn't criticize former teachers or colleagues, so or employers. So this is the point that you have to remember. You should not get into arguments, you should not speak negatively, you shouldn't criticize your former teachers or colleagues or employers. Then the next point is you shouldn't boast or you shouldn't display your knowledge or your skills or your experience. But if asked, you have to state about your achievements. You have to, you can tell about your achievements and those achievements also in a very simple and honest manner. Then you have to wait for the interviewers to invite you to ask questions in case you have any queries. So, if this doesn't happen, then you have to wait until you sense that the interviewers are done before asking them politely if they could clarify something for you. And then you have to, you can clarify. Then, examples of the questions you may want to ask the interviewer are, if you want to ask any questions to the interviewers, then you can ask in this way. Could you tell me whether the position involves traveling? Or please, could I know when I can expect to hear from you, please? This is the way you can ask them in a very polite manner. Then the last point is you have to wait for the interviewer to tell you that the interview has been ended before you get up from your chair. Then you have to thank all the people in the room before walking out of the door and closing it softly behind you. So this is the behavior or mannerisms you have to maintain when you are attending an or facing an interview. So I'm going to read a sample interview so that you can understand. So there are two persons here, that is the candidate and the manager. So this is the conversation. Candidate, may I come in please, ma'am? Manager, yes, please come in. Good morning. Candidate, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Assistant manager, please sit down. Candidate, thank you, sir. Manager, could you begin by telling us something about yourself? Candidate, ma'am, I'm from Vizag, but I grew up in Hyderabad, where my father worked until he retired. I'm married and I have a baby daughter who is a year old. Assistant manager, I assume you both speak both Telugu and Hindi, am I right? Candidate, yes, sir, absolutely. I also speak Tamil. Manager, why do you want to join our company? Candidate, you are one of the leading publishers of law books in the country. With my background and work experience, I hope to be able to contribute to the company and also find the opportunity to grow further. Manager, actually, the vacancy we have is for Bangalore. Would you be open to being based there? Candidate, yes, ma'am. I'm willing to relocate from Hyderabad to any part of the country. Assistant manager, could you tell us what kind of salary you expect, please? Candidate, I'm earning rupees 22,000 net in my present job. I think anything a little over that should be okay. Manager, well, thank you, Mr. Kumar. We'll get back to you in a week's time. Candidate, thank you, ma'am. So, this is the way how interviews are faced and the way how they communicate, which is polite. Hope you have understood this formal letters, and this slide is also for facing interview only. So hope you have understood facing interview, that is conversational skills. Now we are going to do writing formal letters. How to write a formal letter. So formal letters, leave application letter especially. Students need how to write a leave application letter. So you might need to take leave from college or from work for various reasons. The format of a leave application letter is the same as that of a formal letter. You can see lesson number 7. When applying for leave from college, be sure to include details such as your roll number, department, and other personal details related to the college. Some institutes require you to submit a medical certificate if the leave is for more than 3 days due to illness. So here you can see very clearly. So this is the way how you write a formal letter. So Mitchell Johnson, 3rd BTech, IT, and then ID number colon IT 270934, and a little space is given, and then he has written the date 8th March 2016. Then again a little space is left here, and to whom it is addressed. So it is addressed to the principal. The principal, Saraba College of Technology, then Arasampatti, Chennai 635201. So you can observe all the details are written to the left hand side of the page. So this is the current writing of the formal letter. Earlier we have learnt in lesson number 7 how we have to write a formal letter. So everything, all the details without any punctuations, we have to write them at the left hand side. And after leaving a little space after the address, write the salutation part, that is dear madam or dear sir, whichever is applicable, and then a little space and write down the subject. So what is the subject? The subject is the reason, request for 2 weeks leave. That is the subject. Then after that, leave a little space and write down the body of the letter. Okay. So you can see on page number 156 and 157. 156 and 157 in your textbook. So this is the body of the letter. So the body of the letter is Mitchell Johnson, studying in 3rd year information technology. My student ID number is IT 270934. I am writing to inform you that I am going to undergo a small surgery on 12th March 2016 to remove kidney stones. Doctors have advised me to take complete bed rest for 1 week after the surgery. So this is the body of the letter, and he is clearly writing the reason for his leave. Okay, why 2 weeks leave he needs? So requesting, in a very requesting manner, he is writing the letter, a formal letter, that he is undergoing a small surgery in order to remove kidney stones, and doctors advised him to take complete bed rest for 1 week after surgery. So like that, in the paragraph or the body of the letter or the main part, you have to write the reason. And then after that, again a second paragraph, I request you to kindly grant me leave for 2 weeks from 10th March 2016. This was written in the year 2016. If I am forced to extend my leave, I shall inform you well in advance. So, a very brief letter with only 2 paragraphs, and then after that he left a little space and write down thank you to the left side, thank you full stop, and leave a little space sorry, yours faithfully, comma, and do your signature and write your name clearly after the signature. That is Mitchell Johnson. It is written, and after your signature comes the parent's signature, and if there are any enclosures, you can you can mention the enclosure medical certificate dated 16th March 6th March 2016. Okay, so this is the way how you write a formal letter. If it is your principal or boss or whatever it is. And then the next one is banking correspondence. So this letter is related to the banking correspondence. In order to write a letter to the bank manager or the branch manager, you have to write in this way. So, banking correspondence, banks need to exchange various kinds letters with their different stakeholders. As all of us use banking facilities, it is a good idea to practice writing such type of letters. The following letter is an application for an account statement. So you can see Neha Kumari and then 3-6-342 Himayat Nagar, Hyderabad 500029. Email is written, after email there is a colon. So the email address nehakumari@gmail.com. Then phone is 093-988-17253. After that a little space is left and the date is written. Everything, all the details in each and every formal letter, you have to follow this. This is the pattern, or this is the current trend. So Neha Kumari, and her address we have written, and then a little space is given, and then the date is written 30th October 2016, and then a little space is left and you have to write to whom you are writing this letter. That is the branch manager, HBL Bank Private Limited, 65A Bank Street, Koti, Hyderabad 500095. So there is the address and to whom you are addressing, and then leave a little space and then write the salutation, greeting. So, dear sir, and then comma, after that leave a little space and then write down the subject. What is the subject? A request for account statement. So, this is the request, and then start writing the paragraph. You have to write the details. So, I hold an account in the Koti branch of HBL Bank since 2012. My account details are as follows. So, account type is savings bank, and then account number is HBL0133956480, and then account name is Neha Kumari, and then I am a student and I am applying for an internship abroad. So the visa application requires a bank statement for the last 3 months. May I request you to please issue an account statement for the period 01 August 2016 to 31 October 2016. So I would greatly appreciate it if you could please send the statement to me as soon as possible, as I need to submit my documents to the concerned embassy in a week's time. So, this is the body of the letter. So, there are three main paragraphs in this letter, and then leave a little space and then write down the gratitude. That is, thank you very much, put a full stop, and then leave a little space, and you have to close the letter by yours faithfully, comma, and do your signature and write your name, that is Neha Kumari. So, this is the way how you write a letter, especially banking correspondence. This is the way how you write. So, today we have done, that is conversation interview skills, and then the second one is writing formal letters, how to write a letter to the principal, and how you have to do banking correspondence. Okay, and then after this, on page number 158, you are given two letters where you have to do it for your homework. So, number one is, imagine that you are the proprietor of Garuda Traders, Hyderabad. You would like to open a current account in a bank. Write a letter to the branch manager of ABC Bank making this request. So, you have to write this in the pattern of banking correspondence as we have written. We have learnt the letter of Neha Kumari, how she has written to the branch manager. The same pattern should be followed for this letter too. Okay, the first one, Garuda Traders. So, for that, you have to follow this pattern. And the second one is, write a letter to the principal of your college requesting him/her to grant you permission to leave early every day for a month so that you can attend an evening course that you have joined. Okay, so this is the letter to the principal. So, how M. Johnson had written, and this is the same pattern that you have to apply for the second letter. So, in this way, you have to write, and you have to write the body of the letter to give or to grant permission for leave, that is every day, that is for a month, especially to attend an evening course that you have joined. So, you are given both these patterns, and if you understand these, then easily you can answer the questions which are given on page number 158. Hope you have understood. So, see, these are 5 things never to lie, and 3 things manager needs. All these are related to interview skills. And this lady, she is facing an interview here. So, see how disciplined she is. So, this is the way. So, conversation interview skills is given on page number 152 and 153. So, if you go to those pages, and on 154 you have a sample interview too. Okay, and then you have formal letters on page number 155 as how to write a leave application letter to your principal, and how you have to do banking correspondence, especially to write a letter to the bank manager. Okay, so if you go through these, it will be easy for you to answer the two questions which are given on page number 158. Hope you have understood both. Then thank you.